So hi there everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make these fabulous, very quick and easy granny hearts. Now this one I've added a loop to, so I'll be showing you how to do that. You can make them in all sizes. These are just the basic ones. You could use these as appliques. You could use these to send through the post to people. You could string them all together and make a lovely bunting. Now I'm going to be showing you this one, which I've actually put a little border on as well. I have starched this one to help it keep its shape. Now I have used a chunky weight yarn with this one. The smaller ones I have used a double knit, that's a weight 4 yarn, and a 4mm hook just for these ones. Now this one here, this is fabulous. This is super chunky. I have used 3 strands of double knit, so it makes it a nice bulky weight. I've starched it and I'm going to use this one as a coaster. I haven't put the hanging loop on here, but I will explain about how to make them all. I have even made myself a little dish scrubby. So I had 1 strand of cotton and the other strand is Red Heart Scrubby Sparkle, which I had a little bit left. So let's get going. I'm going to tell you what you're going to need. So for this tutorial I'm going to be showing you using this Stylecraft special chunky yarn. It's 100% acrylic and I'm using this shade Lipstick. I'm going to be using a 5mm hook, which is also a size H. Now if you're quite a tight crocheter you may want to go up a hook size. You're also going to need a darning needle for your ends, a small pair of scissors. Now if you want to starch your hearts, then I suggest that you have some pins and some spray starch or hairspray. So these hearts are made up to start with a 2 round granny square. Now if you're not familiar with the granny square, I do have a complete beginners tutorial which I will link down below. So if you need to go through that a little bit slower than how I'm going to show you now, then I will pop the link down below. So as I say, we're going to start off with these 2 rounds of granny square. Now if there's a particular way that you like to do your granny squares, then that is just going to work fine. Go ahead and do your own way, but I'm just going to show you quickly how I make mine up. So let's start by putting a slip knot on our hook. So this is how I put my slip knot on. You can use whatever technique that you like. I just wrap my yarn around, and then I go under, grab that yarn, pull it through, take out my fingers, and here we go. So I start my granny square by doing a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then what I'm going to do is make this into a loop by doing a slip stitch in the chain that is farthest from your hook. Grab that yarn, pull it through, and the one that's on your hook. And there we have our centre. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to work over my end as we go around. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing a chain up of 3. Now this is going to count as a UK treble, that's a US double. Now I'm going to put 2 more UK trebles. I'm going to work through that centre. Now as I said before, if you're really not familiar with this, just check out the video below and I go through the granny square a lot slower, sorry, not quicker, a lot slower. Okay, so I've done 2 trebles. And there we have, this chain up counts as a treble. So there we have our first cluster of 3 trebles. And now I then chain 3. Some people only put 2 in the corner, but I like to put 3. And this is going to be, as I say, our corner. Then I'm going to do another cluster of 3 trebles in that center. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we come to another corner. I'm just going to cinch those around. Then we need another corner, which is a chain of 3. And then I'm going to do another cluster of 3 trebles, a corner, cluster of 3 trebles, and then I'll meet you back here. So I've put my 4th cluster of 3 trebles, so we just need to make a corner before we join. So always remember to put your corners in before you join your squares. So I'm going to join my first round at the top of our original chain 3 up. So I'm literally at the top going to do a slip stitch. And that's joined round 1. Now what I want to do, I want to be working over here. I'm not changing colour with this granny square, so I just need to start again in this corner over here. So at the top of the next 2 trebles from the round before, I'm going to just slip stitch across. So it's a slip stitch in that stitch, and the top of the next stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch into this corner. So there I go, I'm ready for round 2. So round 2 is going to start the same. We are going to start off with a chain up of 3. This, as always, counts as 1 UK treble, that's 1 US double. We're going to put another 2 trebles in that same space. Okay, make sure they're sort of cinched down so you get that nice cluster effect. Chain 3 for a corner. And in this same space, we're going to do another cluster of 3 trebles. Now, when I go along the side, not everybody does this. I like to put just a chain of 1 in between. And then what I'm going to do is another cluster of 3, chain 3, cluster of 3 in each of these corners. Remembering, as we go along the side, I like to do a chain 1, and I will meet you around at the end. So I've gone all the way around. Now before I join, remember to put that just chain 1 before I join it to this cluster here. So again, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to join at the top of this original chain 3. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch. And again, I need to get over to this corner space here. So just slip stitch your way across. That one. And we're going to slip stitch into this corner. Okay, you can tighten your centre up just by pulling on that original tail. If you find that gets in the way, you can now weave this in before we go any further. So now what we're going to do, we're going to be putting our heart shapes in here. So this part is going to be the point at the bottom of your heart. Now what we want to do now is we're literally just going to do a chain 1, just to give us a tiny bit of height. And we are going to be working in this side space here, not in this corner. We're going to be working in this side space here. Now in here, we are now going to put 12 double trebles. That's UK double trebles, or it's 12 US trebles. So a double treble is yarn over twice. I tend to then put my finger on here so I keep control of that yarn. Push through, grab that yarn and pull it through. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Grab the yarn, pull through 2. You'll have 3 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through. You'll have 2 loops. Grab the yarn and pull through. That is your first double treble. Now don't worry, this will all look a little bit scrunched up. It will flatten itself out as we put more in. Now as I say, we need to have 12 in here, so you will need to every now and then just cinch your stitches to the side. So here we go again. So it's yarn over twice. Push through, grab that yarn, pull it through, so we have 4. Grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. So that's 2. And again, yarn over twice, push through, grab the yarn, I've got 4 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now it will start to flatten out now, and you can see the curve of our heart is starting. So that's 3. So you need to do another 9 of these stitches in just that space there. So just carry on and do a further 9. So you can see it's getting a little cramped in here, so just cinch them around, and then if you lose track you can just count these long stitches here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I need to put one more to make up 12. So it's a little bit fiddly, but you'll get used to doing this after a while. So I've put my 12 stitches in, and there you go, you have this lovely curved shape. Now we're going to put a slip stitch into this space here, which was our corner from our square. So I'm literally just going to put a slip stitch. So that's pull through, and the one that's on your hook, and then that is brought that curve down nicely. So again, in this space here, which is along the side, not the corner, we're going to put, you've guessed it, another 12 double trebles. So I've put my 12 in. I'm just going to double check I have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So all we need to do now is in this was one of our corners. In this space here we are just going to put a slip stitch to bring that curve down. So there you are, we have our 2 lovely curves here of the heart. Now if you are going to do like I did with my small ones, all you would do now is just fasten off, but what I want to show you how to do is put a border on. Okay, so in the last round we are going to chain one up. In this same space here, I'm going to do one UK double crochet. Now that's in the US, that's one single. And then I'm going to put just double crochets in the top of these trebles from the round before. So you just go in the top of the stitch, do a double crochet, double and a double. In this space I'm going to put one double. Again, in the top of these stitches here, these 3 trebles from the round before, just put one double. This just makes it look nice and neat all the way around. Now, when we get into this corner down here, which is going to be your point. Now, when I pin mine out, I like to pull that point down so it makes it nice and pointy at the bottom of your heart. What I'm going to do in this space is I'm going to do one double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do another double in that same space. So when we come to pin these out, I'm going to pull that chain down, and that's what forms this point here. So all you need to do now is at the top of each treble, you're going to do one double crochet. In the space, you're going to do a double crochet, and then carry on all the way around until you get to the top centre point here. Now, at a certain point when you're going around, you will come across the part whereas in our round 2 of our granny square, we did slip stitch across, and you can see it makes these stitches at the top a little bit tighter. So I tend to use my darning needle just to make those stitches a little bit bigger. Okay, so it helps when you're trying to put your hook through. Okay, you might just have to give it a bit of a push, and you just carry on doing your doubles. So as you can see, as we go round, it gives a nice finished look to your heart. Now I've put doubles in the top of all of these double trebles, okay, from the round before. Now when we get to this center space here, this is what you're going to do if you want to add a hanging loop. Now all I'm going to do is do a slip stitch through that space there. So I'm going to do a slip stitch. Also, it brings the curve down nicely. Now if you didn't want to put a hanging, all you would do now is just carry on going round, putting doubles in the top of those stitches, but we're going to put a little hanger, so you can make this as long as or as short as you'd like. I'm going to do a chain of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's quite a nice size for this size of heart. And then again, I'm going to put a slip stitch through that same space. Okay, it's a little bit fiddly. Just keep going. And then you have your hanging loop. And now all we're going to do is, again, we are putting a double crochet in the top of each stitch from that round before. Okay, so you're going to carry on going around until we get to where we started. So I'm back at the beginning, and what I'm going to do is do a slip stitch in that first double that we did. So I'm going to ignore the chain 1 up, and I'm literally just going to slip stitch through, and that's going to end my final round. Do a chain, cut my yarn, pull that through, and then cinch that down as best I possibly can. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to weave in my ends. So I like to take this one across to the back so that I can pull that little knotted bit down, so you get a nice line here, so you don't see that knot. So if I just show you. So take my darning needle, and then I'm going to use these stitches here. So I'm going to go across, go under a couple to start with, and then I like to pull that a little bit tight, not too much so that you have a dent, just enough so that you can't see an obvious knot there, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the back of these stitches to weave this one in. Okay, as usual, I always leave way too much yarn and get it in a knot when I'm on camera, but hey ho, that's what I do. So I'm just go one way, the other way, and then I tend to just go back on myself. So I tend to use the rule of 3. And then I'm just going to snip my ends, make sure you don't cut your work. And there we have it. What I'm going to do now, if you remember, I was weaving this in as I went, so I'm going to go back and then go back again and then cut that one off as well. So there we have it. We have this lovely hanging heart. Now you could just leave it like this if you would like. You still have a little bit of a point here, but what I'm now going to show you how I do is I'm going to pin this out and starch it so it gives it a slightly better shape. So as you can see, I've used my pins around using the edge. And then what I've also done, where we had that chain 3 at the bottom of our heart, I'm really going to pull that down because I love this nice little point that it gives me once I've starched these. So I'm happy with my shape. I'm happy where my hanging little loop is. So I'm going to get my spray starch. You can get this at supermarkets or you can get it online. I'm using Dylon spray starch, but you can use hairspray. You can just give it a bit of a steam with a steam iron. Just be very careful not to touch your yarn with the iron. You're just literally giving it a blast of steam. So I've starched mine. What I'm going to do is just wait for that to dry, and then I will show you what it looks like once it's done. So there you go, here is my finished hanging heart. Now unfortunately it hasn't completely dried yet, so you can still see a little bit of starch, but you can see already it's just holding its shape nicely. So do have a go. Let me know how you get on in the comments down below. Let me know what you use your hearts for. Now if you liked this tutorial, please don't forget, please give me a thumbs up down below. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I will see you here next time. Bye bye for now.